Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're with you here on Al TV International, and we just brought you the agreements that were signed and memorandums of understanding with between the Egyptian and Senegalese officials. Of course, today President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received the Senegalese President Macky Sall, who's paying an official visit to Cairo, accompanied by a large delegation of several ministers in different fields. Also following talks at Al Presidential Palace in Cairo, the two presidents just witnessed now the signing of a number of memorandum of understanding in several fields, including electricity, renewable energy, and antiquities. We're now delighted to be joined by Mr. Abdel Latif Wahba, the journalist. A very good afternoon to you, sir. Mr. Abdel Latif, can you hear us? Mr. Abdel Latif, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Abdel Latif. Could you tell us a bit about the visit by the Senegalese President Macky Sall to Egypt? Today we've seen the official reception at the Presidential Palace and the signing of several memorandum of understanding in different fields. Tell us a bit more about the historical ties, for starters, between the two countries, sir.
Yeah, of course, as you know that since President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi took his office, and he paid an attention to the African countries, and also wanted to restore the historic relations between Egypt and the African countries in general. This is, of course, as you know, that Egyptian-African relations or African countries' relations was completely influenced before and affected by what happened in Egypt during 2011. And at the same time, as you know, during Mubarak era, they ignored the African countries at the same time. So President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi wanted to restore the Egyptian rule in Africa as it was during President Abdel Nasser, when he supported all the liberations organizations and the African state efforts to get their independence. So I think President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi now, as you know, that paid attention for the African countries, for the historic relations with the African states, and also he founded an Egyptian fund under Ministry of Foreign Affairs to help development in the African countries, especially in improving the public utilities, the main infrastructures in these countries, and supporting the African countries, Senegal too, as one of the important countries for the Egyptian administrations. As you know, we have a great relations with Senegal. I think President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, with these efforts, wanted to implement at the same time what he planned during his presidency of the African Union.
Yes.
When he proposed to facilitate trade exchange between the African countries, yes, and creating an African economic or free trade zone, and also he wanted to make Egypt get benefits and its rights from the economic utilities in the African countries at the same time.
Yes, absolutely. We've seen a great effort by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi during his presidency of the African Union, but not only during the presidency, of the Union, but after, as we've seen the President continuing his support of his African brothers and the continued strong ties between Egypt and many African nations. The Senegalese President is accompanied by a large delegation of ministers in different fields and sectors. Could you tell us a bit about the delegation accompanying the Senegalese President?
Yeah, of course, as you know that from signing many treaty or many memorandum of understanding between Egypt and the Senegal, you will notice that they are concentrating on a specific sectors. Like investment, for example, I think it is important for the two countries. As you know that Egypt, for example, is an industrial country just now, and at the same time, the Senegal has many resources, mineral resources, and so on. So we can exchange the benefits between the two countries one-to-one. This is on one hand. On the other hand, as you know that by signing this memorandum of understandings, you open the door for the Egyptian companies, especially working in construction, to participate in any projects in Senegal at the same time. As you know that they signed also memorandum of understanding in other sectors like electricity, for example, or in general in energy, power, and so on. Egypt, a developed country in concerning the power planets, even from like Siemens power planets in Egypt, and also we established many renewable energies, like from solar, from wind, and so on. This is, of course, will open the door for the cooperation between the two countries. At the same time, as you know that President Abdel al-Sisi didn't ignore the services sectors. As you know that Egypt pushed many missions, especially in health and education, for Senegal, for the African countries at the same time. This is, of course, I think, if we wanted to restore our historic relations, as you know that you have to make a change in the mindset of the Egyptian, of the African people, not to depend upon their what can we say?
They're pre-colonialist powers.
Pre-colonial countries. So, as you know, that they are still spiritually connected to these countries. Now we have a great chance to change the mindset of the African people and for the African countries, and also to exchange the raw materials between the two countries. If you need, for example, any of the mineral resources in Senegal, you can get, and at the same time, in exchange of Egyptian exporters, we have a great advantage in many sectors, especially spinning and weaving industries. Also agri-product at the same time. So I think it is important for Egypt just now to open freely the trade exchange with the African countries.
Yes, absolutely. Mr. Abdel Latif, you also mentioned a very important issue, that being the health sector, and how Egypt has, from a very long time ago, been assisting the African nations, especially in their health sectors, either sending professional Okay, sorry, Mr. Abdel Latif, we will now go to the press conference,
Okay.
and we'll be right back. Just stay tuned. Thank you very much.